Welcome back. Welcome back to this little series I'm doing regarding entropy, based on entropy, with showing you how it works in the flat earth system after watching a science video based on the spinning ball BS. So I've got to work my way through it. You need to fully understand the whole concept before you get to the actual entropy at the end of it. How the sun is working within our earthly system. How science tells us that they have an open system, not a closed system like the flat earthers realise. They have an open system in science, yet they have gravity which holds everything towards the earth. So they have their cake and eat it too. They don't understand what the closed system actually is referring to, which is like Earth being a ring magnet, and the ring magnet has a magnetic flux. It only goes so far, doesn't it? Well, the humans, we live inside that flux. That's the electromagnetic field. We all live in it because we are all light beings, and we are projected images from the core energy source, which is a star. So every living creature on earth has a star up there, which is its core, and it's been expanded. So this is how we come to the word bread. What happens to bread? It expands. So this is video 2, showing you how the earth works, why they refer to bread in the Bible. You got the house of bread, which is Bethlehem. So the whole Jesus story is born in Bethlehem. And this is a divine spot here. Around 30 degrees north. This is why we have the great pyramids, got Cairo at this place here, because this is the earthly system, Cairo, pyramids, and the Sphinx is all connected with this divine moment, celestial moment, where there's the two systems, you see, the southern field that expands outwards and contracts inwards. This is the pulsating of the seasons over the year. If you don't understand what I'm talking about here, you might want to go back and check out my earlier videos, because you need to understand the flat earth system. So that's one perspective of it. The other one is looking down on earth. It looks like that, okay? Like a sea anemone. Put your finger in the middle, that sucks on you. Well, this is what this does. This central toroidal field here sucks from the tropical zone into it, feeds the sun. That's what the straw is for. The Milky Way is the straw that feeds over into the actual sun, the plasma, unseen plasma. We see the image of that sun out here in our realm. We cannot see this in here. It's the created. It's the creation. It's creation. This is created. We can't go back into creation, can we? No. So there's a spot here. So this is what we call unleavened, when the southern field has gone in during the winter and then expands back out for its summer. Okay, so just ignore the northern hemisphere seasons for now. I'm talking about the southern hemisphere. The southern stars, anybody can look for themselves, and the celestial bodies come down at this time of the year, come out, what do they say? Well, it's expanding out, down and out. But anyway, it's expanding outwards to our southern summer, okay? And during the winter it starts coming back up. So you see the crux out in the south here start coming right back up to here. And as the season opens up for our summer, it starts coming back down again. So here we have unleavened, where the southern field has shrunk, gone down into a mente. Down into a mente, this is what the Egyptians talk about. Because down into there, all comes out again. And it's an overlay in here. Okay, in Epidos they talk about overlays. Well, they don't actually, but there is a system there in their hieroglyphs. They're what's the word? Reliefs, overlays. There's two types of reliefs they have there. They have the overlay, where they've gone over an original relief to show us, and then they come up with this these images of the hand, or the submarine, or a fast boat, or a Black Hawk helicopter, and all that sort of stuff. But you separate them back to the original. You have to understand the overlay, what they're referring to. Everything the Egyptians have left us is a message. So you look at this, you've seen this in churches, this sort of look. These represent the columns in all the pantheons. It all refers back to creation, because that's what the churches are all referring to, because the Freemasons, or the Masons back then, they knew all this stuff. And when they built the churches, it was all based on resonance, because their whole system, our whole realm is based on sound. Okay, it's just hit the perfect frequency, and we're all living in this tune. So there you have unleavened. Then we have the equinox, which is even, and then we have the raised up, when the southern field is now raised up and out, and look, south is recessed back in. North, centre north, because this rotation, represents the star, the northern star rotation, comes right out to the Tropic of Cancer. So I'm not going into full detail here, but you're getting the gist of things here. This is basically what's happening. It's a celestial tropical gap. You got the tropical gap, and then you got the celestial tropical gap, which doesn't align with this. It seems to be more north, and it's to do with this overlay, where man is deceived. It's real deep, and it's hard for me to explain unless I get it totally aligned in my mind. I can't quite explain it properly, but there's this overlay, and it's this overlay. Before it opens is Bethlehem, the house of bread. That little gap is an overlay. You've seen this in my previous videos, where you see these sort of symbols over the years. It's this point in here, okay? So if you turn that around and went like this, well, you know, what does this look like? The Eye of Ra, or the fish. It's this divine moment in time, and this is what all religion is alluding to. It's the most sacred, most divine, place in all of our existence. It's all about rebirth, man's second birth. He has to wake up in this physical world. It has nothing to do with your physical death. On YouTube, that's all they talk about, the physical death. They've got no idea what they're talking about. Egyptologists have no idea what they're talking about. You go to Egypt, you can listen to them yak all day long, but there's nothing in it. There's no truth in it. They have no idea what they're talking about. So there you have even, equinox, equilibrium. Okay, but the north and the south are the same, equal. So this is what we perceive to be this magical spot in here. And there is a connection. So what's happening in here is expanded out at this point, where we tend to see it, I think, but it's complicated. But at this equilibrium, you know, you've got the sun's analemma. It's down here, isn't it? Well, the sun is still moving on these degrees, right? But it's referring to this point up here where there's no movement. Okay? This is actual equilibrium. But that's the 6th of September. September, not the 23rd. So man is deceived, and I haven't even got my head around that properly yet, but I know what's going on. So, bread. The Bible is not just a book of spirituality, but it is of physics. The whole book is describing the whole flat earth system. Allegorically. Bread. Look, this looks like bread. This here baked bread. I mean it looks like that back in the day. Round bread. Expansion and contraction. Unleavened, does not swell, hasn't got the yeast. Leavened bread, raised up. There's the system. Eat of the bread, spirituality. It even says in the Bible in John 6, 7, somewhere in there, the bread is not what you think it is. It's not the bread you eat, put into your mouth, I should say. The sun and the lemmas. This divine point is when you get the sun and the lemmas, which is basically the Milky Way, two Milky Ways, one in each hemisphere, lining up across the tropics. That point there meeting this point here. This curvature meeting there, this curvature meeting there, okay? This is the bow and arrow. The bow and arrow, bow, arrow. The toes, the meeting of the suns and the lemmas, the toes, banks of the Jordan or the Nile, Christ washing your feet. These are the toes, washing the feet. Dipping them in the water, toes in the water. Also, if you start looking at this, we need to look at it downwards. So we're told you look to the north, you see a rotation anti-clockwise. You look to the south, you see it clockwise. So we go like this, don't we? Or is that way? But essentially you need to look down on the earth, look down on it to understand how it all works. You look down on it, so it's the opposite. So if you look down on the earth, not up, the field moves clockwise. High pressure, anticyclone. Anticyclone. In the south, low pressure, which is cyclone, a cyclone, and has anti-clockwise winds. Like this, the winds drive like that, because the magnetic field is in the wind. The ancient Egyptians tell us that, but this one's going like this, and they're driving together as they move around continuously. North and south poles being drawn in from both easterly directions. So in the southern hemisphere we see the sun come around this way over your arc of horizon, heading west to go back round like this, come back out again for the next day. Every man has one of these arc of horizons. That's the way he sees his world around him. If he looks direct south or direct north, he's on a meridian. This is why they tell you to live on a spinning ball. No, it's not. This is not a spinning ball. You just have your visual perspective within your arc of horizon. So there you have it. This is video 2. So check out the video 1. Then we're going to lead into entropy and the recycling system of the earth and how it works. So get this model in your head. Because what's happening, you have energy coming up to the center here. Up here, passing over here, down there, across the ground, through the ground, up and over the field, down here, along the ground and back up here again. Okay? And that's the magnetic field of Earth. Then you have the other system, this electromagnetic or magnetic induction through the hydrogen molecule, which is the male coming up to the center. And this is what's being created between the capacitor plates here. And when the Milky Way swings around, it's like a straw on the top of the cup swings around, it gets drawn up into there. There's some pairing going on across here, and this is where we come with the cross. The cross. It's all physics. But we'll get into that with the next video with some nice new pretty pictures. Okay, you see the symbol here, the ankh. That point there represents that neck. Enlightenment, awakening of the Son of Man, this pineal gland maybe. Then they've got this down here, which is the 3 days that the sun does not move in degrees, which is in that same area at the 6th of September zone. But there is some deceiving going on there. I haven't got my head around it because I can't get to watch it with a telescope, and every time I do get the opportunity, the weather is rubbish. Every equinox in the last few years has been always overcast. So there you have it, guys. And now there's a shout out to Bro Sanchez, who described the Nephilim quite well just recently. I've told this story like years ago. He's the only guy that's coming behind me to say it properly. He did mention this giants, what giants are, because everyone just stops at the word giant. They don't break it down. It's just ridiculous. Nephilim means giant. So what does giant mean? So you look into it. But anyway, he's come about with Gaia, earthlings basically, ants, giants. So ants being the wise ones that will come about. So at the end of the day, it's all about meteor showers. We're all created through meteor showers. They come down into the female fetus's eggs. Her eggs are downloaded within a couple of months or a few weeks. I can't remember now. So it's not the pregnant woman. It's the pregnant woman's female fetus is downloaded. Has her eggs downloaded from these meteor showers, because everything down here is created from above. And you know, the earthlings of renown, okay, they come down into the fair maidens. The fair maidens are the pregnant woman. They will be the enlightened ones God hopes. Okay. I think they're preordained. They probably will be, no doubt. But we all come about this way. But the kings are sent down to be the messengers. And the messengers, it's all connected to the whole divine event of this secret spot here, which is following a solar eclipse. And the solar eclipses are governed. Come about by Mercury. Mercury is the messenger. There's Mercury on one side of the Sun and Venus on the other. This is the male side. This is the female side. Okay? So this one creates the lunar eclipses. Venus, female side. And this side is represented with Mercury as the solar eclipses. But bear in mind, they're mirrored. And so they'll have the moon on both sides. So it's an alignment. You know, Sun, Mercury or Venus, and the moon. It's the trinity there. And what you want is your star to be in there at the same time. That's you become one of these enlightened ones, men of renown. Okay, you go through your second birth, and it's all there. There's 5 holy days there. Whether they're all in there, I'm not too sure, but there is 5 holy days. Only 5 holy days of the whole year that the moon can give spiritual birth to man. So be watching up for the 3rd video. It may actually go into 4 when I start breaking down this video. I haven't got it on me at the moment, but I'll put a link in the description for you. Okay, cheers guys. And think about, put a likes up and subscribe, and hook up to my Patreon if you're that way inclined. Help me out and get some more information in there. Cheers.